Good evening and welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where we are middle aged men, we are husky, and we do talk Baltimore sports, Ravens. What else do we talk? Orioles, Terps, and more. Welcome this evening, everyone. If you can see, if you're watching us on Facebook Live or on YouTube, we have our favorite guest back. Jimmy's back. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Mike's giving you a golf clap. That's good.
That's how we used to do it when we played short and third together.
Right?
Oh, the good old days
Oh,
when my limbs
fabulous.
worked. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's terrific. Well, okay, Jimmy, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Oh, what haven't I been up to? I've been spending my Preakness winnings on all sorts of things. It's been great. I've been listening to you guys talk about sports, lacrosse. So I'm trying to get into that now. That was fun to watch because everybody plays lacrosse around here. So when I go to watch my friends and family's kids play, I have to learn lacrosse. So I'm starting to get into it. It's not a bad sport.
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting. It is. I missed the boat on that one. Went a different direction. Mike, what about you? What has the week brought you?
Oh man, we are in full take a knee in the phys ed area right now. So backyard games unit. We played moonball on Monday and Tuesday. What is moonball, you might be thinking? We played baseball with a volleyball and an aluminum bat. And so if you hit the underside of the volleyball, it pops up like a million feet in the air, and it's kind of fun. But it also, if you square it up, you could probably break a kid's finger. So we only play one day of moonball. And today was disc golf. We set up the old Bel Air disc golf course. We have 9 of those collapsible disc golf holes that are kind of like camp chairs. They kind of open up like camp chairs. And we put those around campus and played some disc golf. And I played some X golf this evening, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, fabulous. Well, I'm confused. So how many volleyballs do you go through in a session? Because don't they have like a bladder inside that gets like busted and popped?
You'd be surprised at how durable a volleyball can be. Like, we actually haven't popped one yet. And we've now also, I'm not sure the skill level was particularly high in moonball, but we have not legitimately popped a volleyball in the game yet.
Oh, well, that is well done. And John, what about you? I know your mother came to visit you. Well, she came to visit the kids. It doesn't really care that you're there.
Not really. I mean, I pay for a place for her to stay, and pay for the cars that she drives the children around in. She just takes me to work, drops me off, and then says, "I'll come pick you up at some point in time. If I'm not there, you can walk." So, just like the high school days,
Wow.
Except now I'm making a little bit more money than I did back at $5.25 an hour? Is that what we were making in high school? I think something like that.
Was it that low? Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
I think my first job was $5.25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Oh,
what is minimum wage now? Isn't it like 15 or something?
It's $14 in Florida. I think they're raising it to 15 next year.
It's 17 here. I know. I just hired an intern, so we had to pay him $17 an hour.
Your interns get paid?
You have to.
Wow. I did internships, never got paid.
You can't have an unpaid internship anymore, apparently.
Oh, for my company, I had an intern. He was unpaid, so I guess that was not a good thing, huh?
Just call him something else. Just don't call him an intern.
Jason, did you ever get paid for your internships?
Helper. You're a helper.
Yes. I did an internship with the Orioles. I got paid for that. And I had an internship with WNST, but no, I did not get paid for that. So that was a free internship. But I got like free food and free smoothies from Smoothie King and all our other sponsors that they had out there. But those are just the perks. I have an announcement. I made it through the entire 72-hour fast without eating any food. I started on Sunday evening and finished this evening. And let me tell you, you would think like you'd be like starving, ready to eat, like can't wait. It was so anticlimactic. Like I barely could eat anything. because your stomach is like you go through the shrinking process on your stomach, but not the kind of shrinking process you go through, Mike, when you go swimming in May in the ocean. Like it's a little different.
Yeah,
But
right.
it's yeah, no, it went really well. I lost like 8 pounds in 3 days. We'll see if what happens with that. But like it really was not at all as the whole process was anticlimactic. It really just I went through some periods where I'm like, ugh. But other than that, your energy is super high. Like it's actually pretty good feeling. And we'll be doing it. We'll try it maybe once a month or so and then see what happens. That was about it. That's what's going on here, guys. So okay. Good thing I didn't reestablish the bet because the Orioles have won 4 games in a row and I'd be wearing a dress. They finally did it.
Wait,
Mike,
what was?
I don't know what to say, Mike. They have they've started looking like a different team in certain parts of their game. But I'm trying not to get too excited because it is 3 of those were against the White Sox. Seattle's a good team. They're a first place team. They pitch well. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy with your emotions in the current state you're in with no food in your little tummy. But I think the pitching, like I keep talking about the pitching, but I think over the last 9 or 10 games, they said the Orioles have like a 1.99 ERA. I mean, that's starting pitching. Like clearly, what a difference that's made in the way that they're playing with confidence. Everyone has kind of the pressure has released a little bit there. You can tell they're playing a little bit more free. And we've been waiting for Colton Cowser to come back. And I think he's a big old boost to that clubhouse right now. What do you think there, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you saw him last night hitting the home run, and just it looked like he first at bat, he took a little bit of adjusting to the major league pitching again, but he looks solid. And I think, this may be what we're going to see if they do indeed deal Mullins, like the rumors are going around right now. This could be the outfield that we see. And you know what? Doesn't look so bad when everybody's putting the ball in play and making good plays. And Adley last night, he was, I think, 2 for 4, 3 for 5, something like that.
I think he had 3 hits last night.
Yeah, I think he had
3 for 5.
3 for 5. So he's hitting the ball, and that's kind of, I think it just takes a couple series, a little bit of confidence in the Chicago series, the starting pitching, getting quality starts, not having to go into the bullpen in the 3rd inning, not being down 5 runs in the 4th. Those sorts of things really help your ball club.
And Jim, are you looking to purchase playoff tickets or where are you at with the whole situation?
Yeah, I just got off Ticketmaster as we speak. No, 9 runs against the White Sox in 3 games. Thank God we had pitching. I just, again, I'm gonna have to see more. I am hopeful. I love getting Calger back. I think, making a move will just spice up the team locker room. Is it a sacrifice of Mullins, maybe Mountcastle, to get more pitching? Nah, I'd like that. Like I said before, leadership too. Maybe we can get somebody in the clubhouse. But I don't think, where their record is right now, they're going to look for any vets to want to come here and try to get them out of the dumpster that they're in.
Yeah, a couple key things last night that I noticed. Much better hitting with runners on base, runners in scoring position, but much higher exit velocities and good swings on the baseball, especially from Adley, using all the fields. Gunnar hit the crap out of the ball a bunch of times. And O'Hearn is just red hot right now. Probably one of the top guys in baseball as far as hitting goes right now. So, they're kind of just putting everything together. And once Westberg comes back, like we've been saying for a few weeks now, John, they might actually get to play with the team that they had hoped for from spring training, at least on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think so. And even Westberg's defense is a little bit of an upgrade at third base, but I think if the confidence of the starting pitching, I think, is going up. And I think that's what's going to be the real deal breaker, because we all know, you go up to the plate in the 3rd inning down 5, knowing that you know what, we're going to have to really put pressure on ourselves to score runs, then that turns into pop-ups. That turns into your front shoulder dropping. That turns into you swinging over hanging curveballs and things you should be killing, because in your mind you're thinking, I got to kill this. I got to get us back in the game. But that starting pitching, I think, is going to be the catalyst of, if we can keep this up, which I don't know if we can, but if we can keep this starting pitching up, then the pressure is off the offense. It's off the other things, and it allows us to play a little bit more relaxed, allows us to concentrate on doing the things we do well. And, you know, like last night, Adley slide into home for that first run on that sacrifice fly. I mean, that was a hell of a throw from the right fielder. And Adley made the best slide you could potentially make in that situation, you know, to score the Orioles' first run. And I think we could just, like I said, just keep that starting pitching going and, you know, take pressure off ourselves.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to say. Like Mike, you mentioned the pitching staff and whatnot, but for me, it's you are playing the White Sox and you are playing the Mariners, and those two teams are towards the bottom as far as offensive production goes. Now the Cardinals, they're more towards the top of the middle to the top of the pack offensively, and that's when everything started. So to me, Mike, I don't want to get too excited and buy into fool's gold yet, because I don't know what it is I'm looking at. Like, did all of a sudden, did they just get lucky with the schedule? Or is it some things are starting to click with Sagano, Morton, the rest of these guys?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, because I mean, if you think about how the lineup's been managed since Mansolino has taken over the team, you know, he's defense first. You said that a couple weeks ago, Jason. You know, I love seeing Carlson and Cowser out there, because when the ball's hit to that side of the field, I'm feeling a lot more confident than I was a couple weeks ago when you're watching Kerstad run around on one side of the field and O'Hearn run around on the other side of the field. And it's just so many holes in the outfield defense. And actually, the infield defense has kicked it up a notch. Gunnar made a couple of really nice plays in last night's game. But I think it makes everyone feel confident and comfortable. And the second thing, lineup-wise, is just everybody's hitting in a similar spot every night. Like you said, they may be flipping one spot in the lineup, maybe two. And I think that just makes you more comfortable. So those two things, as well as the fact they're playing some of these lesser teams, have really helped us in this little stretch right now. Am I thinking that means we're going to go, you know, I heard the Locked On talk about going 32-18 in the next 50 games, and then all of a sudden you're 5 games out of the wild card. I mean, I think that's a big jump. Let's just see where it takes us for a couple weeks. I do think that the next few weeks will dictate what we do with the trade deadline, and help determine the outcome for the rest of the season. So I think there are crucial few weeks. But I just think we need to let it play out a little bit, and I don't think we need to jump either direction right now.
Jim, we talked last week, and John mentioned again about the rumors of trading Mullins or Mountcastle or somebody like that. What is your feeling? Like I asked the guys last week, I said, if you're 5 games out of the wild card before the trade deadline, what do you do?
I don't know. You don't ask me that. I mean, my feeling of this team is I don't really foresee them going anywhere in the playoffs. So if O'Hearn's hot, if we're 5 games out of the wild card and we got a month left, I'm looking to build for next year. I mean, unless they could do something here with Westberg coming back, Cowser coming back, pitching all of a sudden finding, Morton finding the found the youth. I mean, unless things can click, and after the All-Star break, we're saying they have a chance. They're 500 now. I mean, I'm not going to get excited. I refuse to get excited. And like we got the pieces that we could trade to build the team for next year, and then the off season, hopefully, bring in some talent through free agency would be my plan.
So that's exactly what Mike and I said. John wanted to trade off a couple pieces and bring in some pitching if you're that close. Mike and I saw it more as fool's gold, like I mentioned, where it's, yeah, you might make the playoffs, but what's going to happen when you make the playoffs? If your ultimate goal is to not bring Mullins back, then he shouldn't be sticking around anyway.
No.
And I keep hearing like Philadelphia being interested. And I mean, I think the conversation starts with Mick Abel It
Yes.
absolutely starts there.
Yes.
Our favorite loudmouth, obnoxious 105.7 afternoon host went on a tangent with Ken Rosenthal about.
I heard that.
Did you? He asked him. He
Yeah.
said, "Well, who do you?" Because he's been like pounding the table saying, "Oh, they need to go after Andrew Painter." Well, so does every other damn team in the major leagues. Like
Rosenthal laughed at him. He just laughed at him.
it. Yeah, he goes, "That's a radio show host conversation," and like made fun of him. But it's right because he's 100% right. It starts with Basayo. It doesn't end with Basayo. It starts with Basayo, and it involves names like Povich and McDermott and maybe Felix Batista. Like he's talking about giving up Felix Batista and these guys for that. To me, it's a big joke. But if Philadelphia comes knocking, it starts with Mick Abel. Maybe it's a straight up deal. I would do it. At this point,
Yeah.
I'm not big on pitching. I'd rather take the bat, but not when you have that much control under that pitcher.
Well, I think our thing too we're going to be seeing though with kind of a blessing in disguise with Mullins and Mountcastle both out is you're giving Mayo some more at bats. Well, hey, that's what we talked about almost all the time. Mayo needs at bats, and with Mountcastle on the bench, he's going to get the at bats and he's going to show what he can do at first base to see if that's even a possibility of something down the road. Mayo being our everyday first baseman.
I mean, mayo is a staple in my household. Like I use mayo on almost everything I eat, sandwiches, cheesesteaks. I mean, I'll put it on pretty much anything. So he needs to be relevant.
Mayonnaise.
Do you put mayo and peanut butter together? My grandfather used to eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Oh, that sounds.
I'm not a serial killer, John. I'm not a serial killer.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we cleared all that up. That is
so that's why I don't have any cinnamon toast crunch in my cupboard anymore because I'm a serial killer.
Do we as a collective group like Mayo, Kobe Mayo?
I like what he could be. I would like to see what he could be, but like what everyone thought before about his like ceiling and his trade, like how much the organization loves him. I'm not so sure what the rest of baseball thinks of him. So to me, I would like to see what he has to offer, but I'm not like, if you noticed in these previous trade conversations over the last few months, I mean, I'd throw him out as one of the first guys.
Right.
So I'm okay.
That's what I would do. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See ya.
I'm enamored with his power tool. Like that's the biggest thing for me. Like I don't think his defense or his base running, his athleticism. I mean, none of that really plays a factor when I think of Kobe Mayo. But his power is like it's unquestionable. Almost like he's a positionless player, kind of, but he can. I mean, maybe he can be trained to play first base. I mean, Mountcastle kind of did that, right? Like that wasn't his natural position. He learned to play first base.
Yeah, he was
so maybe he's a better Mountcastle. I don't know. But I'm curious still. I'm not ready to give up on Mayo yet.
Well, a player that I am, and I've been talking about this for weeks. And Jim, I'm curious of your opinion. I actually, the more I listen to the Locked On guys and some other people, like I'm not so sure that the Orioles should have ever drafted Kjerstad. And the fact that they took Heston Kjerstad number 2 is like this could be one of the biggest problems I have with the whole organization. Like they're saving money by drafting Heston Kjerstad and then over slotting him and paying different and playing a game instead of just taking the most talent you could have there. So I don't know if he had some huge holes in his swing as far as his decisions on like his swing decisions. And he's rolling his hands over all the time. He keeps grounding out. He doesn't elevate the baseball. Now, last night, game before, I mean, he showed a couple different signs that I was very impressed with. But I think he needs, and I've been calling for this, I do think once Westberg comes back, he might need to be the one that goes down and works on a few things. What do you think, Jim?
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, I just think he's lackluster, in my opinion, in the outfield. And he definitely has hitting mistakes. I just think, I don't know if getting hit in the head, like a lot of people say, that that's been his downfall. Like he hasn't really been the same since. Like that did something to him. But didn't he have like a heart condition too? Like coming into the draft,
Myocarditis. Yeah, he had
right?
myocarditis.
Like when they picked him, I was like, well, isn't he like a big risk here? Like what were you doing at the second pick picking him? That was I didn't agree with that. I was confused by it. But I think they thought that was kind of the idea, like you said, they get a better price for him, and he fell in the draft because of that condition. So they thought they were getting a steal with the second pick.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just never been like I was excited for when they first brought him on, but as far as where we are now, Mike, I'm more patient with Kobe Mayo at this point than I am with Heston Kjerstad.
I think it's because you've seen less of Kobe Mayo. I mean, we've seen Kjerstad now for a good amount of time, and really not much has changed. So, I mean, I think that's probably the sample size playing a role there. I'd be remiss though, Jason. I know we haven't talked about this yet on the podcast, but the Orioles made a coaching move and signed John Mabry, um, who was a big part of the Cardinals organization back in the day, the Marlins more recently, a little bit in Kansas City. But he's known as a stable coach with a good rapport with players and help guys hit with runners in scoring position in St. Louis. It was like one of the best teams ever. So I think my question for you guys, with all the connections he has with some of those other fellows that Skip Schumacher and Carlos Beltran and all those other guys we've kind of maybe mentioned previously, do you think this is a ahead of time move maybe to bring this guy in on the staff, to kind of maybe secure one of those guys for next season? Or do you think this is just a opportunity where you see a weakness on your team and he has a strength as a coach to help you with that particular weakness? Maybe I'll start with you, John.
I kind of got the opinion and thinking that he's in there for the future, that he's really in there because the Orioles have heard that whoever they're going to be pursuing really wants someone like that in their clubhouse, someone who's a good from what I understand, he's a very good like instructor, very good teacher, very good coach, so that they're going to try to bring in that next like Carlos Beltran or Skip Schumacher or whoever, but that he's going to be kind of that I guess connection between now and then. But what I just don't know, we just don't know is what is the front office and the team thinking about this season? Are they completely done, or are they, what, we can still make the playoffs and go a ways? That's kind of, I think, what they're going to have to decide. But bringing him in though, I think it could be either one, but I think it's for the next guy, whoever they're really targeting to come in for managerial position next season.
Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it was they looked at the situation they had after they lost Hyde and realized that there was no experience at all in the dugout as far as coaches go. And because of that, I mean, you have Britton and who was the catcher, the bench coach? Chirinos. So all these guys are first-year coaches. Sanders has about 8 years of coaching experience. Mansolino had some minor league experience, but other than those two guys, there's not a lot of experience. So they brought a guy in. I don't even know if it was specifically to work on offense or if it was just to stabilize and bounce more ideas off of a veteran coach. But then obviously his specialty is offense. So Jim, what do you think?
Jim, what are your thoughts?
I concur with Jason and John.
Well done.
Thank you. Wayne, I concur. Well done. I mean, I don't have much to say on it, to be honest.
Mike, you have anything you want to add to that?
I mean, listening to some of the Locked On guys talk, it sounds like Schumacher is pretty much like a coach in waiting almost for Bruce Bochy in Texas. He's kind of he's in the front office right now, but obviously that job's probably Bochy's until he's done. So maybe that's not really in the picture if he's there, kind of waiting to go. But maybe he could be lured away. I'm not sure. Beltran, obviously, with the trash can banging. I don't know what people think of that maneuver. I think it's still a strong possibility potentially. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Jason. There's absolutely no experience in the dugout, and we're a team that struggles to make contact with the baseball and hit with runners in scoring position. And so, while he's not specifically a hitting specific coach, I think he's going to help us in those areas of weakness that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Yeah. So, I mean, again, so it sounds like we're kind of a wait and see approach. All of us are okay with them making moves at the deadlines. I mean, Jimmy, I said a couple weeks ago that I think they're in a buy sell mode. Like it's not just sell; it's you're buying
Oh no,
and you're selling
I
because you're
completely
only a
agree.
year.
Yeah.
Right, you're only a year away. Like
Right.
this isn't something in my mind, at least, that if you do make these trades, Jim, and I don't know, you can elaborate on this. They need to be for almost ready MLB talent within the next year or so.
I mean, it's quite possible that you can make some trades, right? Bring in some exciting players or just new pitching, prove to the team like, look, we're not done. And it doesn't have to be like a ace or crazy trade like that, but like just new talent. I mean, look at a team like Detroit Tigers last year; they were dead in the water. Nobody thought they even had a chance at the All-Star break, and then they make the playoffs. Anything can happen, and we're so young into the season. We're only a third of the way through. We have another third of the year where we do the exact opposite, and then we're talking playoffs. I mean, that's my exciting take on it. But I just feel like these guys haven't shown me that they could go anywhere in the playoffs for 2 years. Why would I think any different? Is just my spin on it when we actually get to that point, and that's
No,
why
yeah,
I always want a leader.
Yep.
Somebody
Yeah,
take
you're
charge.
100. And I do. I think you'll see different. I mean, you'll see a different manager. You'll see. I mean, you better see different pieces on the field. Otherwise, I mean, we have bigger problems than one admit. One of the other things, and then we can move on to the to a different subject here. That Ken Rosenthal was talking about is that there are rumors, and he's heard from a lot of major league executives and major league people that, and I think Mike and I both said this, that Elias, there's a lot of doubt that Elias can build a major league baseball team and put a major league team on the field, not just recoup your minor league team, and the fact that, I mean, he is one of the most respected guys in all sport baseball writing. So if he's hearing these things, there's probably some smoke where there's smoke, there's fire. So just something to think about. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be the one to say, oh, I think we need to start making a GM change, because I think that causes bigger problems. Okay. The reason we brought Jim on again is there's another horse race coming up. The third leg of the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes. And Jim, we want to know what you're thinking. We want to know how we can make some shekels.
All right. So here we are. Third jewel of the Triple Crown is not at Big Sandy this year. It's Saratoga again. Big Sandy will be back and operational in the fall. That's what they call the Belmont Park, or Belmont Park, if you guys didn't know that. But I don't know how much it is a test of the champion. It's not your regular 1.5 miles. At Saratoga, it's more like 1.25 miles. What does that mean for the horses? I think it favors some of them more than others. We got an 8-horse field, and it's interesting. You got some Hall of Famers like Money Mike Smith in there, Bob Baffert on Bob Baffert's Rodriguez. You got the defending champ of First Jewel Kentucky Derby, and in there, Sovereignty. You got journalism in there who won the Preakness. So it's exciting. What the most exciting part about it is, I kind of look at it like a heavyweight fight. It's like, finally, these guys get to go head to head. I'm so glad journalism decided to race in this race. I didn't think he would, considering he did the first two and proved his point in the Preakness, but he's back. He's back to prove a bigger point, and that's I could beat Sovereignty.
Jim, I don't want to interrupt you, but have you actually spoken to any of the horses about how they feel about this event coming up?
Oh my God.
Every single one. Every single one. Thanks for bringing that up. They all said, I just want my oat bag. Put me back in my stable.
I heard you weren't very stable. No.
Yeah. Get out of my face. I'm eating my oats. That's what they said.
Well, Jim, if you read all the clippings and you listen to everybody, I mean, everyone's really focused on this being a 2-horse race,
Yeah.
and it really coming down to sovereignty and journalism. I obviously you won't make a lot of money if you go that direction.
Mhm.
So it's like trying to find the other horse that can either sneak in between them in a trifecta, or I was even wondering, I was going to mention it to you because you
Mhm.
mentioned that wheel play a couple years ago. I was wondering about maybe wheeling someone like Beza in the one spot and then have sovereignty and journalism locked into the 2-3 spot. And even then, I don't know if it would really pay in that much money.
Well, there's 8 horses. A wheel play wouldn't pay as much as it would in like the Kentucky Derby, where it's a crapshoot coming down the stretch more times than not. That's where you get the big 50-to-1ers that just have a good break and end up winning. But these horses were strong this year. I mean, everybody coming into it, everybody was thinking journalism was bred to do this. He was bred for and trained for to be able to race 3 races within a month and a half, unlike the other horses. That's why he's in this race. I love Baeza. I think if there's a horse outside those 2 that could pull it off, it's him. I think it favors Baeza that it's a shorter race. It's not as long as it usually is. The stretch isn't as long at Saratoga, so Baeza, could compete. I think the biggest hope for a horse like Sovereignty is that Baeza and journalism wear each other out coming around the turn up front, and Sovereignty can, he's a come from behind horse, and he can come from behind and take him down. Is kind of what I think those Sovereignty fans are hoping. My thought on Sovereignty, I don't see it happening this go around. I think he just doesn't have the distance here. If it was at Belmont Park, I'd probably favor him more. But that's why I like Bayesian journalism as a box play here, exacta box.
And what about, so if you want to take it any further and you want to fill a 3rd place and a 4th place horse, so for a trifecta and a superfecta, would you be looking at someone outside of that, like Rodriguez, or would you be looking at what's the one horse, the Hill Road? Are those any of the ones that you would look to throw in there? Or so essentially, what would you tell people if they want to risk a couple bucks, and then who are you picking to win the race?
Yeah, so like my whole idea of the race is that you're gonna have a horse like Rodriguez go out front. He's the pace setter. So can he go gate the wire? That's the question, and that's very rare for a horse to do that in the Belmont. 66% of the time, the favorite wins the Belmont for a reason. It's usually the best horse. So it's hard to go against the favorite in journalism. If I were to, I mean, like I said, Baeza journalism, my 3rd horse. I don't see how you don't put Sovereignty in there. So if you want me to throw a long shot in there, Hill Road's intriguing, and I know same with Crudo. Those are the only ones I would throw in there. I think the other 2 long shots, Uncaged and Heart of Honor, are just throwouts in my opinion. So, I mean, you can try to get fancy and think one of those long shots could, box them. Try to hope that they come in first, like a wheel play. Put Baeza in journalism 2nd and 3rd and box it, and then throw the rest of them number 1 and hope that a long shot gets there. It probably won't be as big of a ticket. I mean, you're probably looking at like a $1 bet, probably, I don't know, $10, $12 ticket. So That would be my idea. Try and make money in this, or just put your life savings on journalism winning and Baeza coming in second.
Hey,
Oh.
Jim, how much do you take into account the opinion of Gene Menez? I was just reading some of his stuff, and he was not taking journalism to win.
Who was he taking?
You had to pay. It was behind a paywall. It didn't say you couldn't see who he said he was going to win, but he was
Well-
saying he was the journalism. His worry is that this will be his 5th race since the beginning of March, and that he may not have it left in the tank to finish. That was you know what I'm talking about? You know the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know, and then because I've heard from many analysts who are journalism bashers, and they said the same thing at the Preakness, because they were like, he's not gonna have it. These new horses are gonna come in and take him down, and he proved them wrong. He's a gritty horse. I mean, a lot of experts picked this to be a Triple Crown horse, and they don't do that every year. So I think he's got the stamina to be able to do it. I think it's going to be a true test. What I'd love to see is him and Sovereignty battle it down the stretch, nose to nose. I think that'd be a great finish. I think it would be journalism hanging in there and Sovereignty trying to catch him or something like that. I think that would be a great race.
So Jim, real quick, maybe you can speak to how weather conditions could impact the race, because it looks like there's between a 40 and a 70% chance of showers on Saturday. And how would a wet track versus a dry track affect the horses?
Well, thank you for bringing it up. I mean, obviously, everything is just broken apart at that point. You might as well just throw them all into a box and pick out who you think would win.
Oh.
No, I
Let's
don't
do
know.
that.
Yeah. I think I'll tell you this. I overthink wet tracks way too much. I overlisten way too much. And more times than not, it's exactly how it's supposed to end up. So I just think with this caliber race, it's not really a sprint race like the Preakness where that might affect it. And horses might just think, oh, I don't want to be fast today. It's wet. It's just a different kind of race. And I just don't think that'll affect it too much.
Do you think that the layoff of Sovereignty not running in the Preakness, do you think that's a benefit to them?
Absolutely a benefit. That's why Mont did that. He knew his best opportunity was to win 2 of the 3 Triple Crowns. And he wasn't going to be in the Preakness. He was scared. He knew he didn't have the horse for it. He didn't breed him for it. He was never going to run him in it. That's another reason why I'm kind of biased against him. I mean, the cool part is journalism, if he wins, there's only like a handful of horses that have ever won 2 jewels and a second place jewel. It's like 18 or something like that. Sunday Silence might have been the last one. Or no, I'm trying to think who it was. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool feat to do, and I love the horse, and I hope he does it. That'd be awesome.
That's why I didn't play Major League Baseball. I wasn't bred for it. That's why.
That's it. That's why. That's the only reason.
That's the only. That's
Exactly
the only
right.
reason. That's the only reason why.
I mean, look at you. You're a physical specimen. Like you.
I know.
You belong.
How
in the
else
Major
could it
League.
be? How else could it be?
Mike? I am your biggest hype man. I always will be. So don't you worry.
You're like my
I'm here
Don
for you.
King.
Absolutely. I got the hair and
big
everything. I got a horse
Troyer.
going.
Yeah, right.
All right. So we are all gonna go around here, and we'll start with Jim since you're the special guest, and everyone's gonna say who is going to win this race. So what do you think, Jim?
I think journalism wins for sure. I got journalism, and then I'll go Baeza. I'm going to go Rodriguez, and then I'm going to say Sovereignty. That's my 4. Straight. Lock it in. That's what I think will happen.
John?
I'm gonna go Sovereignty, Rodriguez, and then journalism.
Miguel?
Jim said journalism. I'm going to trust Jim and say journalism because I know
Yes.
nothing about horse racing.
Well done. And I'm probably going to regret this, but I'm going to go with Sovereignty. And I'm going to go with journalism in the 2 spot. And then I'm going to go with Baeza in the third spot. And if I want to do a superfecta, Jim, I'm going to throw in there Rodriguez or Hill Road. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to do something along those lines, and we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you more off air about the wheel thing if it makes any sense. Like I don't know what I'm going to do.
Crudo's pretty cool because he's like kind of unknown, and he's a Bobby Flay horse. I mean, he owns them, which is cool. I don't know what that does it for you.
Like Bobby Flay.
But
The stakes are high with Bobby Flay. You know what I'm saying?
But I think if I had a surprise horse, that might be it to like play in the exactas. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, Jim, we really appreciate that, and we will. And I guess this means, see, when you come on one show and preview something, you get to come on the next show and be the and explain why you cost everyone money or why and we can celebrate it again. The money.
If Sovereignty wins, I'll probably be sick that day. Just saying.
Oh, it's just dumb luck on my part. It would just be a straight guess. So, all right. So that's what. Take it to the bank. What Jim said. Again, Jim's phone number is 443.
Whoa.
All right. So next up here, we are Dabod Sports Jeopardy. And the way we do it, Jim, is whoever lost the following week has to be the host. And John had gone on a 3 trivia win streak until he lost last week to myself. So now Mike will wait.
I have to host.
No, I lost to Mike because you didn't word the first question correctly, and I answered it correctly, and then I just
I curb stomped you by 2,000
because I couldn't get over.
John got one question right. John got one question questionably right. And then nothing else.
No, Jason asked, who is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball history? And I said Caitlin Clark. But he didn't specify overall men or women's. And I knew the men's is Pistol Pete Maravich. But he didn't say that.
Jim,
and
just
he
for,
didn't give it to me,
record,
and I lost.
Just for the record, and Mike can attest, we did give him the 100 points. But he still
at the very end, I was harboring it inside the remainder of the game.
Sounds like
he still would not have been able to participate in Final Jeopardy.
Correct. And you still need to speak to your therapist. So good luck. All right.
I'm Jim's therapist.
Yes, he is.
Who coaches the life coach? That's the question.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
The good book.
All right. And John, Jim, just to give you some rules of the game, it's 3 categories, and you can choose 100, 500, or 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Final Jeopardy, which you do have to have money on the board to play Final Jeopardy. John, what are you doing?
Turn around, Jason. Kirsted's hurt. Kirsted just ran into the wall, twisted his ankle, got it stuck under the thing, and just ripped himself. Yeah, he's done.
That was so graceful.
Dude, it looks like a leg bruise. I think we'll be all right.
Before you were talking about Kirstad, he was grounding out the second base as you were talking about him. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Elevation of the baseball is going over real well. All right. So again, Jim, 100, 500, and 1,000. 3 different categories, then Final Jeopardy. And then to answer the question, you need to raise your hand and say your name. Or you can say my name and I'll answer it. It's up to you, Jim. However you want to do it. All right, Mike.
You got it, guys? Everybody good with the rules?
Yep. I'll keep score and update y'all.
Awesome. All right, so today's Jeopardy categories are Road to the Ravens. In this category, you will get each team that the player played for, including the Ravens, in order. And you will have to guess the player. Second category, O's major award winners. And the third category is Be More School Days. You will have a Baltimore athlete. I will give you the athlete, and you will tell me the college that they attended.
Oh.
Or high school. Or preschool.
So what does last place get?
So, let's see. John, you won, right?
No, Jason won.
The
No,
Jason won. So
Jason goes
Jason won.
first.
I'm sorry, Jason. You get to pick the first category.
Let's do O's major award winners for 100, Michael.
All right. 2014 AL Manager of the Year.
Jason.
John.
Jason.
Brandon. Oh, wait. 2014? Buck
Yes.
Showalter.
That's correct. You almost made a boo-boo.
I did, because I thought you said, yeah, I don't know what I thought you did.
100 points to Jason.
We'll do the major award winners for 500, Michael.
1969 AL Cy Young Award.
John.
John.
Jim Palmer.
Wrong. Minus 500 to you.
Jim. Tom
Go ahead,
Seaver.
Jim.
Jim, was that you want to answer it?
Tom Seaver.
Nope. He never played for the Orioles.
Oh, they had to play for the Orioles.
It's O's major award winners, Jim.
McNally.
Sorry,
you don't get to
incorrect.
go again.
Well,
No.
it was the O's.
Jason. Okay, time
I
is
think you
up
might
now.
have helped Jason a little bit, though.
Um,
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
who is it?
Mike Cuellar is the answer.
Hmm.
Mike
Oh.
Cuellar.
We are. Okay.
All right, Jason, the board belongs to you.
Let's do the 1,000.
Hmm.
2001 All-Star Game MVP.
Jim.
Jason.
Oh, Jim came in first.
Cal Ripken Jr.
That is correct.
Ha ha.
1,000 points to Jim Bob.
Oh, that's ironic because wasn't it played at Safeco?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
So
whatever. I don't know what it's called now.
Jim-
T-Mobile something.
Do you
Jim
do you
has
get extra
500.
points for that? Yeah.
Jim has 500 points now and has control of the board.
Woo, baby. So I'm not doing the Ravens, so I guess I'm going B. Morris School Days for 100, Bob.
Remember, in this category, I'm going to give you the athlete and you tell me where they went to school.
Mhm.
Rashad Bateman.
John.
Jason.
John.
University of
What the hell?
Minnesota.
Correct.
I didn't know this could be a Raven question.
100 points to John. John, you have the board.
Same category for 500.
Keaton Mitchell. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doot.
John.
You too late, John. East Carolina University. East Carolina.
John, where's your right
Right.
hand, you cheating son of a biscuit?
I have my.
Prayer hand.
Okay.
Isn't Biscuits the name of a minor league team?
I'm sure somewhere.
There's
Yeah,
a
I
horse
think
named
it is.
Seabiscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that same category for 1,000.
All right, for 1,000. Colton Cowser.
Jason.
Jason.
Sam Houston State.
Correct.
Hmm.
Well done.
All
1,000
right,
points.
Jason has 1,100. Jimmy has 500, and John has negative 400. Great job, John. Way to hold up
That's
the
all right, John. We got one more category. You can dig yourself out of that hole.
Hey, you got to beat me here. Come on.
Road to the Ravens for 100, Michael.
All right. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time on this one just because it's some processing here. All right. I'm going to give you the position and then the teams. All right. Right guard, Cincinnati, Cleveland, New York Giants, Baltimore, Detroit.
Zettler. Jim Zettler.
Yes. You skipped some steps there, Jim, but that's correct. Kevin
Well
Zeitler.
done, Jim.
Zettler. Yeah, Zettler.
100 points to Jim.
You picked somebody to play for the Browns on purpose. I appreciate that.
I helped you out a little bit, Jimbo.
Thank you.
All right. You got the next question. 500 or 1,000?
1,000, baby. Let's just go for it.
Oh
That's
my
a
God.
classic Jim move. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Chicago, Indianapolis, Baltimore, San Diego. John,
Harbaugh.
which one?
Jimmy.
Correct. Jim
Ooh.
Harbaugh is correct. 1,000 points for John. I think you're in the positive now, John.
Yes,
He is.
I am.
He's tied with
positive-
Jim for 600.
Uh-oh.
Positive
Oh, man.
600. See,
Just
I wrote it
Look
down.
what I've done. I've created a battle. I love this. All right. Last
500.
question. You get no choice, John. I'm going to give you this question. For 500,
Okay.
fullback, Green Bay, Houston, Baltimore.
Oh crap! It's
Oh shoot. I know who this is.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Vontae Leach.
yeah.
mm.
Vontae Leach. All right. So Jason, go over our results right now.
Okay, so currently for Final Jeopardy, we all three can play. John's first time. That's great. So John, you have 600, and Jim has 600, and Jason has 1,100. So the most you can risk is 600.
But we have to risk
All right.
600 to win because Jason.
Yeah,
Has a lot.
basically.
So you have to write down how much you're risking, right? And then you have to write down the correct answer, and we will share it on screen after the question. The Final Jeopardy category is Super Bowl mishaps.
Oh shit!
All right. You guys jot down that wager, and here we go. Final
Hold on,
Jeopardy
Mike.
question
I'm sorry.
is, we're holding on for Jason. He's doing some math over there. He's mathing.
I don't like the math.
All right. On the eve of Super Bowl 33 in 1999, this really dirty bird sought out adult companionship from a woman he believed to be a prostitute, but was in actuality an undercover cop, and was arrested for solicitation hours before the game. In an ironic twist, he had been given the Bart Starr Award for Outstanding Moral Character just a few hours before the incident. Good luck. All right. All right, gents. So we'll start with our one of our 600s first. Let's go with John. What do you got?
Was it Darren Sharper?
Darren Sharper. No, that he played for I think the Saints when he had an issue.
Yeah.
That's incorrect. He was a dirty bird. So what team do you think he played for?
Yeah, Falcons.
The Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah.
I can't remember
All right.
players, so
I remember
All right.
this, but I can't remember it.
no,
Jimbo, what do you got?
it's wrong. It's not right.
Say what you wrote, Jim.
Did I say Tony Gwynn?
No,
No,
it's
it's
Torrey
Torrey
Holt for 600. I lost.
Nope.
Not Torrey Holt.
All right, Jason, down to you.
I don't even. I mean, I risked 200, and I said
Okay.
Seth Joyner.
I like it. No,
it
it's
was,
not right.
Oh,
No, I didn't think it was right.
What
Yes.
was
Of course,
his
it
name?
was the
safety.
Falcons.
It was the
Right.
safety.
Why did you? Yes, that's why I said he was a very dirty,
Dirty
bird,
bird.
John.
Right, but no, it was the safety.
Yes. His name was
I remember
Eugene
it.
Robinson.
That's who it was.
That's who it was. Okay, yeah, Now that you say
All
that
right.
name, it rings a bell.
No.
I say it with firmness because I looked up the question and I found the answer. So it is, in fact, Eugene Robinson. But thank you all for playing. I believe that leaves Jason as our winner.
Woo!
Congratulations on your victory, Jason. And that
Yay.
means John will be hosting next time we have Dad Bod Jeopardy.
Yay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I came in
Fabulous,
second
boys.
because I got one guess point, right?
Oh, that's true. You did.
Yeah.
John, you lose.
How many did you wager, Jim?
Just $1.
Oh, okay.
So all right. So okay. So this is another segment that we just wanted to throw out there. I asked you guys through text message. Hope you did it, Jim, to come up with your top 2 sports moments of all times. But the caveat is you had to attend said sports moment. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Mike, why don't you go
Oh,
first?
wow.
I have one of yours here, Mike. So, Mike, I'm going to play the video of your. I just had one of yours. I don't know.
Yes,
what
I
your second
had.
one is.
You want to play that? Okay, good, John.
You were at this, Mike?
Yes.
Did you put? Did you pay penance to the statue of Earl Weaver after you went to this?
No.
Can you please play the thing?
Woke up every couple hours in dreams that he had to help himself. Then finally got some help. Played some with Cincinnati last year. And wait a minute! Did that go where we think it went?
All right, so that clip is from the 2008 All-Star Home Run Derby. My father-in-law invited me. He got tickets through his company and said, "Hey, do you want to go on a train up to New York and watch the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby?" And that was when Josh Hamilton went off in the first round. He hit 28 home runs, and I was sitting in the right field upper deck where several of them were landing and left and right like a barrage all around me, which is pretty awesome. And if you remember that All-Star game, it went 15 innings. And part of the impetus for the tie thing and all that went on with the All-Star game. And our lone Oriole in that All-Star game was good old George Sherrill. And he was a reliever. And he came in the 12th inning, had a big strikeout, and the American League won. I think it was their 12th straight victory in the All-Star game at that point. So that was one of my most memorable moments. Do you want me to do my other one, John, or do you want to come back to me?
You can do your other one.
Okay. The second one I had like a tough choice between two, but I think it's the Cal Ripken game, which we talked about last week. But 21-30, I got to sit, underneath the overhang in the lower level and watch that live in person, and the handshakes and the home run and all the awesome stuff with that, the numbers unveiling on the warehouse. So those two probably are my most magical moments of all time. Honorable mention to watching the Olympic torch pass through Edgewood in 1996. That was kind of cool. And then the snow game with the Ravens and Vikings that I went to, where it was back and forth, like 4 or 5 touchdowns at the end of the game. It was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, Jim.
Or Jim, whoever.
Jim, why don't you go next? You're the guest.
All right. So besides Jason and I winning the softball state championship in 2006,
Yes.
I mean,
we did that.
Can't beat that. I was at the All-Star workout with, Zachary Wilson and Dale Wilson and Rick Isfording, and I got to, watch Ken Griffey Jr. do his thing, and it was amazing. And we were sitting in the seats at Camden Yards where on the first base side or right field side when they were kind of facing in. So anytime a lefty got up, we were like all excited. But a righty was up, and we were like, we're going to go get, some popcorn and drinks. So as we're getting popcorn and drinks, we're looking at TV, and we see Bobby Bonilla come up. And we're like, no, we got to get back there. And we see a ball hit right in our section. So we run back, and sure enough, the woman behind my seat jammed and broke her finger, and there was blood everywhere. She was trying to get Bobby Bonilla's, foul ball, lightning fast foul ball off my seat. And I was just so upset because I had my glove. I would have caught it. But The coolest part is just being there watching the home run derby and Ken Griffey Jr. of course, in the warehouse and everything. The other thing, I went to a Terps game one time, 2004. Vernon Davis was there, Sean Merrim, and they knocked off Florida State, and we rushed the field. And I was doing, confetti angels and jumping on Vernon Davis's back.
Well done.
And it has some libations, but it was a great time. It was a great time. And an honorable mention was the first ever college football playoffs. I watched Ohio State come back in a Zeke Elliott run. I was right behind him and I could see the whole play develop when he ran that 80-yard touchdown and Ohio State pulled away. So that was pretty awesome.
Oh, it is awesome.
Very cool. All right, so I have three video clips. I have two and then one honorable mention, but it could also fit in. So here's number one.
Now pitching, number 42, Mariano Rivera.
That was Mariano Rivera's last All-Star game at Citi Field in New York. I was working for the Yankees at the time, and my cousin's husband had an extra ticket, so I got to go to that game. And when he ran out that field, the place was going nuts. It didn't matter if you were a Yankees fan or anything; everybody was just cheering. And then he got the MVP because he pitched a perfect inning. There was nothing else going on in that game. I think it was like 3-1 or something. It was just a pitcher's duel, but him coming out and then the whole thing was really cool. And the second one was this. Jim, you might want to close your eyes and your ears on this one.
Travis Coons for the win. And it's blocked. And it's picked up by Will Hill. Will Hill runs down the sideline. Hill's going to get a block. Will Hill is going to win the game on a blocked field goal. Unbelievable.
Every Browns fan sitting around me said they were leaving before the kick because they're like, we know they're going to block it or something stupid, and we're done with this crap.
That's just mean, John. For you to even pick that to play while Jimmy's here, you are not a nice host.
Can I say something?
He was offsides.
I'd like to say something to John. You are fired as my life coach. You're fired.
Thank God. I don't have time for you anyway, Jim. And then here's the last one. Here's my honorable mention. This was really cool. I'll talk about it after it's done.
3-2 with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. A no-hitter. Carlos Zambrano has no-hit the Houston Astros.
So I was at the no-hitter in Milwaukee. It was a home game for Houston against the Cubs in Milwaukee because there was a hurricane going through Houston. And I was sitting I was in that video. I was 2 rows back behind home plate, and they were giving tickets away. And a friend and I just went up there and waited in line. We were in the front of the line, and we got good seats. But yeah, that was really cool. Everybody was a Cubs fan, but it was really cool. No hitter.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
Carlos Zambrano.
Something I was just thinking about, and I'll say this before I go through mine, because these weren't my most memorable moments because it was during the poopy years of the Orioles. We referred to them as the poopy years, Jim, anywhere from 2000 up to, I witnessed live, and I didn't even I forgot about it. 2 cycles, Felix PA and who's the other one now? I'm drawing a blank. Felix PA and Aubrey Huff. And I didn't even realize it that it was happening.
Felix PA. I haven't heard that name in 10 years.
Yeah, we just used John's blast from the past, so we're good now. All
All
right.
Here we
So,
go, Jason.
do you want to do my clip?
Yeah, I will.
All right.
I figured out a way to play your other clip too, even though it's
Okay.
illegal. So here.
And this should do it. Boarding. The Orioles have won the series.
Jim, did you want to say something?
I'm just,
Sorry, Jim.
just wondering why everybody got clips but me. That's all.
Did you? I told you in the text to send me any clips you wanted
No,
from
it's
like
okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, it's cool.
We'll work on that. Okay. So that was the 1997 ALDS. I was at that game, game 4, when the Orioles beat the Mariners. They beat Randy Johnson. Mike Messina beat Randy Johnson off of a Jeff Rebele home run, by the way.
The all-righty lineup,
Yeah.
All right.
basically. Yeah.
Well, Palmeiro played. He didn't do it well.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this.
This is great radio, John. Like I really.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This is good.
All right, here we
for
go.
Business. John?
John, you still there? Crickets.
Which would then give you an unrushed attempt.
That's right.
At a field goal. See that about once every 30 or 40 years. Timeout called by the Ravens.
Oh, John.
That's good. Right, Jim, if you...
Jason, why don't you just talk about what you saw?
Again to the 40. Still on his feet. That's defective. And the Ravens.
All right, John. Well done.
Did that not work?
No.
Did you guys not hear the
So-
audio? Oh,
We
I'm
heard the
sorry.
audio.
You
It's
heard
all
the audio
good.
or not?
Nice try. That was the Super Bowl 47 when the Ravens beat the 49ers in New Orleans. I was there in attendance. It was the weirdest Super Bowl of all times as Beyonce played at halftime and all the lights went out of the stadium. So, and then I went to another Super Bowl once in Miami. It was when Peyton Manning and the Colts beat the Bears, and it rained. The only Super Bowl that
Deluge.
ever rained.
Yeah.
So I've been to the one where all the lights went out and it rained, but I've been to 2 Super Bowls, so that was kind of cool. So that's one of mine, and then obviously the Orioles in '97. My Jimmy is involved in my honorable mention. The 2012 ALDS Game 2. It was Jim, me, who else went? Did Mike go?
Frisky was there.
I was
He
there.
went there, and Josh,
Yeah.
my brother-in-law. We all went to watch the Orioles beat the Yankees. That alone might have been one of the most fun games I've ever been to.
That was so electric. We were in the nosebleed seats all the way at the top, and that place was packed. It was
Rocking.
so electric. It was so electric. That's my favorite baseball game of all time.
Something about, was it like 17 years of no play? I don't even know the exact number, but it was a lot of years of no baseball playoffs.
It was 97 to 14.
To 12.
12.
97
12. Excuse me.
We had
Yeah, 12.
we had no expectations that year either. Pat Gross in May that year, he was still drinking, so he was a little drunk at the time. We were at Crackpot, and he looked at Keith and I, and he goes, "Orioles are playoff bound, bitches, bitches, bitches." And we're like, "Get out of here. What are you talking about, you drunk?" And then they just took off from there and made the playoffs, made a run. And I'm looking at Pat like, so now we have a thing in Facebook Messenger called Bitches, Bitches, Bitches. And we've had it for 10 years.
That is
or more.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I love it.
He called it when nobody else knew it. And,
Yeah, and everybody's saying that started, like that whole momentum switch started with the Andino walk-off hit against the Red Sox to knock them out of the playoffs the year before, the last game of the year. So really cool stuff.
Which one of our Facebook folks mentioned the Robert Andino play as one of their most memorable moments when we had that post, and that was awesome. I had forgotten about that, which was fantastic.
Yeah, we do really appreciate all your guys' feedback, all of you that are listening out there. Like, we really do appreciate it. And I mean, we'll play. If you guys have any suggestions, we'll keep doing like memories like this and different events. Just have to keep coming up with stuff as other than baseball. It's not a whole lot going on, except our next segment is the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, Stanley Cup finals, and then also the NBA finals are about to kick off. So I guess we'll do hockey real quick first. The Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Florida's trying to go for their repeat here and win this year. This is my favorite time of year for hockey, but I still haven't watched as much as I wish I could have. But I will tell you from what I have watched, I'm very impressed by both teams. But I think I'm going to take Florida to repeat here. What do you think, Jim?
Homer. That's a Homer pick.
I
You got to pick
would,
the best player in the game. You got to go with Connor McDavid, right?
Sure.
I mean,
as of right now, it's 3-3. End of third, they're going to the first overtime.
Oh, that's good stuff.
so I think you're right. I think Florida's a better team. I think Edmonton's more hungry. I think they got the better player, and they're very superstitious in hockey. And all of those guys touched the cup, which you're not supposed to do, because they didn't touch it last year and they didn't win. So this year they all touched it to get, I guess, a reverse luck. Who knows? But I think Edmonton's going to pull it off this year. It's hard to repeat against the same team.
And what about you, Mike? What is your pick?
I mean, I think it's cool to have the same two teams in the finals. Usually, I think the edge mentally favors that team that's trying to win it the first time. Usually, just because they're there again and they missed out, initially. It's really Florida's so defensive oriented and really strong. They kind of out Carolina. We watched that Caps Carolina series where Carolina used their forecheck and just kept throwing stuff at goal, and it really worked out well against the Caps. And then they go down to Florida, and Florida does the same thing to them and just does it better with better talent. So they're going to try to muddy the waters against Edmonton, and then can Edmonton's high-powered offense and revamped at the trade line deadline defense, can they kind of hold up? So I'm going to pick if I were betting, honestly, I would just pick on this series to go 6 or 7 games. Honestly, that's where I would go with it because I think it's going to be that tight. But I think Edmonton wins in 7.
John, what do you think?
I think the advantage goes to Bobrovsky and net for the Panthers. Yeah. I think with his experience, with his the way that he been playing the last couple of years. We saw it with the Lightning. When the Lightning had those teams and Vasilevsky just held those teams together through thick and thin throughout the entire playoffs. I think when it comes down to it, your goaltending is just like we talked about last week in lacrosse and stuff. Everything defensively comes down to how well your goalie is and how well your goalie is going to play. And I think Bobrovsky is just too good, has too much experience. And I think, here's my bold prediction, is that McDavid is going to win the MVP again on the losing team. But I think the Panthers are going to win.
He did that last year. You really think they're going to do that to him? They're going to let him do that twice in a row? I can't see them going back-to-back seasons.
With the stats and the way that he played, they have to.
I mean, I get it last year, but I think the voters lean the opposite direction when that happens initially. At least they try to lean, unless McDavid goes off on this series and then they lose in game 7 or something like that. I mean, it's possible. I just don't see it happening.
But it's a playoff MVP for the NHL. It's not just a series MVP. So
I understand. It's the consummate. I get it.
Points, 6 goals, 20 assists in 16 games.
What about your goaltender? I mean, if they end up winning it,
he could. That's the other guy. I mean, that's the guy for the Panthers. They're saying Bobrovsky or Alexander Barkov for the Panthers, their center, could potentially win. But right now, the betting odds are in McDavid's favor,
sure,
even if they lose.
Oh, Jim, wasn't that one of the final name choices you were trying to come up with when you got your dog? Alexander Barkov made the final list.
It did.
As your life coach, who was your life coach who's now been fired, I would have said that would have been a very good name. That would have helped you.
Bark
An
off.
excellent hockey player, by the way.
Yes.
That would actually fit Ryder really well because he barks a lot, especially at cars. I never had a dog bark so much at cars.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. So I guess the last thing, the NBA Finals, the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. For this series, again, the basketball isn't exactly something we talk a whole lot about here, but again, the playoffs for all these major sports are very exciting. So, Mike, you want to lead it off? Do you have an opinion or any thoughts on this finals and who you think might win?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the NBA finals, the NBA playoffs religiously, but I do have an idea what's going on. I would say, obviously, SGA is the MVP of the league right now, so he's leading the Thunder. My mom always told me, when I was in thunderstorms and all that was going on, that thunder couldn't hurt you because it's not really, you can't see it, just noise. So to me, if the Thunder can't hurt you, how the heck are they going to win the series? That's what I'm saying. So no, actually, I really like the Pacers have won some ridiculous games in these playoffs, like ridiculous come from behind wins. It's almost kind of got that team of destiny feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's their first final since 2000, if that's correct. So to me, it's a matter of, you can look at it two different ways. Is their bubble going to burst because they've gotten so lucky, or they're just that team of destiny and they're going to win it all? Obviously, neither of these teams. I mean, Oklahoma City used to be the Seattle Supersonics, and they won one in the 70s, I think. But neither of these teams have won an NBA Finals, so it's kind of cool to have a new champion as well. But if it were me, I think I'm taking the toughness of Indiana winning those gritty late games.
Yeah, and I mean they really are. They've given off. They seem to be everybody's darling right now. I do think, unfortunately for them, though, that the clock will strike midnight. I think Oklahoma City is just way too good defensively. And I mean, when you have the MVP, the best player in the NBA, that doesn't hurt either. But with guys like Jalen Williams, all defensive team, and then Lou Dort, all defensive team, you have two all defensive players on the same team. I mean, again, that doesn't hurt. Not to mention a 7-foot plus guy in Chet Holmgren. I mean, these guys, they can beat you so many different ways. And they haven't lost 4 games out of 7 at any point during the whole year. Like, it's not something that they do a lot or at all. So to me, I do think that they get to, do they cut down the nets in the NBA? No, they just get to lift the trophies. That's what they're going to do. They're going to win. Jim, what do you think?
Well, being a Cavaliers fan, I'm a little hurt by the Pacers crushing them. I mean, they made them look like a, JV team, and for me, I think Halliburton just took over and he proved to me that, you could argue he is the best player in the league. I mean, I think he's just as good as SGA. And like, I know that's hard to say. I know you look at the teams and try to compare them and you're like, on paper, Oklahoma City looks a heck of a lot better. But, I like the grit of the Pacers. I really do. The East was definitely a harder conference than the West this year. And they had the Celtics, Cleveland, I mean, they had the top 2 teams in the league, arguably, or at least record-wise. So, I mean, I feel like for the Pacers to get through all that, I mean, they easily beat the Cavs. I mean, the Knicks, I think, got tired after having to play the Celtics, but they showed they could beat them too, and deservingly, they're in the finals. I think it goes 7, and I think Pacers win.
Very good. John?
I'm going to take the Thunder in 6. I think that, their swarming defense is just going to be too much for the Pacers. I think the Pacers, had to play some very, like you just said, Jim, play some very difficult teams coming out of the East. And are they going to have enough in the tank left to finish this game? I mean, last night they were flying into Oklahoma City. And did you guys see this? Their flight got diverted to Tulsa because there was tornado warnings, and they had to spend like 3 hours in Tulsa sitting on the airplane waiting for the weather to clear up. Then they had to fly south to Texas and then back up to Oklahoma City because there were some tornado warnings and some thunderstorms and things going on, so they couldn't even land. So we'll see if that shouldn't play any bearing on the game. But I do think having to play the Knicks is going to wear on them, and I think Chet Holmgren and all those guys on Thunder are just going to be too much defensively to allow the Pacers to have a chance.
Pacers are a fast-paced team. They will run teams out of the gym. That's what they did to the Cavs. They definitely did to the Knicks. The Knicks aren't a fast-paced team. They like to slow it down. And that's what's going to be intriguing with this matchup is can they still run their fast-paced offense against the best defense in the league. So I think that's the most intriguing matchup, besides two of the top, arguably 3 or 4 players in the league going head-to-head, which is pretty cool.
Did you guys see the video clip after the Pacers won the Eastern Conference Championship and they announced the winner of the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals, and Halliburton starts making his way on the outskirt of the picture because he thinks it's going to be him, and all of a sudden Siakam is the guy who gets the award.
I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh! So it's not like it's not major, but he starts taking a couple steps in front of some other guys, and then all of a sudden Siakam looks as surprised as all get out and comes up and gets the award. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that's great! I never saw that. Oh, terrific!
Search it up, as Josh would say these days. Search that thing up.
Oh, goody! Let's do that. All right. So that'll do it for that segment. The only other thing I have, guys, is our favorite game, the Blast from the Past. Did you guys want to add anything else before we continued? No? All right. So Blast from the Past is our favorite trivia game where we come up with Orioles players that we may or may not have remembered that they played on the team, and we all try to guess each other's player. So who wants to go first? John, are you prepared?
I am prepared. I don't know if you're going to get this guy because he played for the Orioles, but not for a very long time.
Well, that's the point.
Okay.
You just can't be some bench reliever.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it more than 5 games like the last guy?
Yes, it is. It is more than 5 games. I remember him because of some of these interesting facts that I have acquired. Got it.
John.
Goodbye.
You're a special boy.
I am.
Do we have to stand on our head or spin in circles or yell our name in Pig Latin to answer a question, or are we good?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm
Mike,
going
if
to
you
go first.
keep making fun of my games, I'm going to.
All right, so this guy is 54 years old, born in Devils Lake, North Dakota. He was a right-handed pitcher. He started for the Rangers, then played for the Marlins, then the Rangers again, the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, the Marlins, and the Milwaukee Brewers. He won a World Series in 2003 with the Marlins, and he led the AL in wins in 1998. He was a very early critic of PEDs and warned the Players Union that drugs were a problem in the sport. Okay. He pitched a perfect game when he was in the minor leagues. The interesting fact was he was a football player at North Dakota State University on a full-ride football scholarship. He transferred to Kishwaukee College to play college baseball, then went to Stanford. Then he was drafted by the Rangers in the first round of the 92 draft. For the Orioles, let me see.
Yes, what year did he play for the Orioles, Joe?
2003. He played for the Orioles in 2003 and he was traded to the Marlins at the trade deadline of that season. He was 7-8 for the Orioles. Had an ERA over 5.
Kevin Brown.
In 24 games. No.
Okay, I'm out.
Not Kevin
He
Brown.
played for the Padres, too.
I'm out.
Yeah. He pitched a majority of the season for the Orioles. He only won one game then when he went to the Marlins, but then he won the World Series. Let me see what else I got. Actually, he has 2 World Series rings because he was on the 97 team, but was traded to the Rangers halfway through the season. So he won a World Series in 93 or in 03 and 97, but he was a pitcher.
Oh.
I didn't know this. He currently resides in St. Paul, Minnesota, and coaches football at Minnetonka High School.
This isn't going to help us, John. You
Yeah.
can't give us. You have to give more normal details.
I'm looking for more things.
He's a Capricorn. He likes long walks on the beach.
Yeah. His wife has enhanced.
Oh my God.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what else. There's not much else I have of this guy. I just remember him because he was like a weird, and then he got traded halfway through the season. He was terrible for the Orioles, but all the Orioles pitchers were terrible that year.
Well,
he pitched for the O's in 2003.
2003, went 7-8 with a 5.71 ERA in 24 games started. 138.2 innings, 156 hits.
Is it Rick Helling?
Yes.
Yes.
Well
Very
done,
good, Mike.
Because I was thinking, you know what I thought? We talked about Omar Dahl the other day. I remember the two of them. I kind of keep them together in my head from the poopy years.
They live rent free there, huh, Mike?
They do, which is a lot of space in there.
See, I don't remember Helling as a I don't remember Helling as a Marlin, just as a Ranger in a short time here.
Yeah, no, he played for the Marlins. Has 2 rings with the Marlins.
Weird. All right, Mike, you want to go, or Jim? Do you want to go? Who wants to go?
Oh, let Mike go.
Fabulous.
Go ahead, Jim.
You want me to go?
He just said let you go.
Oh, I lost it. I had my guy, and then I lost it. So go ahead, Jim.
You go ahead, Jim.
The last one I gave you, it was easy. I feel like this one might be easy too, but I'm going to do it. We're going to do it. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
All right. So, played for the Orioles from 90 to 92. He was born in 63. Grew up in San Diego. Still know it? I got him. 1982. He was a first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox. No, nothing. All right, okay. He hit 23 homers for the Orioles in 91.
Did you say a position yet, or no?
No.
No,
okay.
I didn't want to give it away.
Is he was drafted by the Red Sox? You said in 82.
82. Mm-hmm.
What teams did he play for?
Okay, let me get that for you. He played for the Red Sox, the Orioles, the Indians, and the Rangers. He ended his career with the Rangers.
What else you got?
Okay.
He's an outfielder, you said, right?
No, he's a first baseman designated hitter.
Randy Milligan?
No.
Sam Horn?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't even let me get to my favorite one. He
said position, so Jason went for it.
He scored the first ever run at Camden Yards. That was my favorite one.
Huh.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
I knew I should have given the position. Darn. Hey, it lasted longer than the last time, though.
Yeah, last time I think we got it the first clue.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Jason, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
My fella started in the majors in 1986 with the Yankees. Also played for the Pirates, the Astros, the White Sox, and the Orioles. He played for the Orioles in 1998. He was a starting pitcher. He won 155 major league games, and a Cy Young Award. And he had one All-Star game appearance. And the caveat, the funny part about it is, it wasn't the year he won the Cy Young. He didn't make the All-Star team. But he was the Cy Young Award winner in the National League in 1990?
How do you not go to the All-Star game?
Can you give me the teams again, Jay?
That was
Yeah.
the Pittsburgh Pirates, right?
Yep, it was the Yankees, the Pirates, the Astros, the White Sox, and the Orioles.
Is it Doug
And-
Drabeck?
It is Doug Drabeck.
He didn't make the All-Star team when he won the Cy Young.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did not. He
That's
made
crazy.
the All-Star team in '94 with Houston. He won 12 games in the strike-shortened season.
Ah, okay.
So he didn't play many games for the Orioles. I mean, he was 6-11. I didn't even get to the Orioles stats. 6-11 with a 7.29 ERA.
We signed all those guys who were like, gosh, just horrible.
Well, didn't we sign like him and Jimmy Key at the same time?
Oh no, Jimmy Key was on the playoff teams. He was like he was on the
97.
97 team. He had this was 98.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I thought you said
Jimmy
97.
Key
I'm sorry.
had like a really productive year for us, actually.
Right.
He was
2
very
years
good.
he was here.
Jimmy Key was, yeah.
All
Maybe he
right,
was-
Mike, who you got?
All right. So my fella was born in 1970 in Connecticut and drafted by the New York Mets in the third round of the 1989 MLB draft. His position is catcher. How we doing?
Fabulous.
He played for the following teams: the Mets, the Reds, the White Sox, the Orioles, and finished his career with the Tampa Bay Rays. The years in which he played in Baltimore were 2000, 01, 02, and 03.
Oh,
No,
the poopy years tonight, guys. Good
Uh,
lord.
yeah.
In 2000,
It was
he had
in
a
Ro-
1.2 WAR. He had a positive WAR that year, not the other years.
Wait,
wasn't
name
Geronimo-
tell me the no,
Geronimo-
it's not.
Hill.
No.
It's a white
Nope.
feller. I'm pretty sure it's Brooks
Mets,
Fordyce. is who
Reds.
it is.
That's it. Yep,
Yeah.
you got it.
Fordyce.
Brooke Fordyce.
Yes.
I was gonna
Hard
say
Dog is a
if you were
white.
playing Yahtzee, you need one more.
Oh, that's great. Wow. Wow, Mike. Wow.
Mm.
All right. Well, okie dokie. Well, that was great. That was fun as always. Jim, good job. Sorry your guy didn't last as long this time, but hey, you were able to play Final Jeopardy, which is better than John usually gets to do.
Yeah, I got points and everything. It's great.
Yep.
Good job.
I can't believe you keep coming back and putting up with us. I really appreciate that.
Frisky pays me well.
Oh, Mike.
I was supposed to be under the table, Jim.
Titleist balls and tea times.
Fabulous. That sounds like a good deal. Well, we will if it's okay with Jim, we will try to have him back on Sunday to recap the race. Hopefully we can talk about all the shekels we won, see who was right on our picks so far for hockey, basketball, and for the horse race. I don't know. Maybe we'll come up with some new segments, some new fun to entertain everyone.
That's right.
What do you guys think, Mike? Mike, you ready to shut this thing down or what?
Yeah, let's do it. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Dad Bod's Crab Cakes and Sports. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Don't forget to subscribe on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're at it, leave us a review. It really helps us out. We're trying to spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes action, memes, and bad sports takes. You can find us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on Instagram and at dadbods crab cakes and sports on our Facebook page. Have a question or topic you'd like us to cover? Hit us up at dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail.com. You never know, we might just shout you out in our next episode. Until next time, keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Bon voyage.
See ya.